Hey, welcome back to 2 p.m. with the Trigger. Rich Bontrigger here, and it's Friday. We've all made it to the weekend. Hopefully, you've got great plans, and hopefully, the weather will be conducive to you. It's been a hot summer, but hopefully, you get time to go out and go enjoy it on a beautiful September weekend. Of course, the NFL kicks off this Sunday, so we have that to look forward to with all the craziness of media and TV. Talking about today, media, but from the executive perspective here and how to grow your media persona as an executive. It's been that the boardroom has been the best home probably for most executives. We're used to the boardroom. We're used to the long table, a lot of chairs, and people crammed in too tightly. But really, more and more, the executive space has grown into cameras, microphones, lights, studios. But what sort of a persona are you projecting now through that camera lens? Because we're selling books, we're selling courses, we're not just executives anymore, we're content creators. But with that comes the idea of you are a brand. Remember, you are the brand, not the thing you're selling, not the books you're selling, the course you're selling. You are the brand. So ask yourself, what sort of persona are you creating? And here's an interesting thought on this is that often when I consult and coach with people, the idea of building a persona almost sounds dirty. It sounds fake. Some people are like, I don't want to build a persona. I just want to be me. However, we're not doing anything fake. We're actually helping you assemble who you are better so that you communicate and connect better with the people you want to communicate with. Jan's with us once again here today. Great to see Jan. By the way, I got a chance to preview her first book, and it's a children's book. Very cool. It's about a dragon. But if you want to learn more, you got to reach out to Jan right there and find out more about her book. It's great to see what she's developing, what she's got going on. But when it comes to this idea of a fake personality, no, it's really, again, we're assembling the pieces you already have into a better, more cohesive way that you're sharper, you're on target, you know who you're communicating to, and you know who you're talking to. So before I get into the different best practices I want to share with you today on this building out your executive persona, I want you to think one thing right now and ask yourself this question. Define who you are. It will save people like me a lot of time if you have a better understanding of who you are. But that question is kind of tricky because you may be known for innovation. You might be known for leadership. You might be known for being an expert in some industry. All right. That's what you're known for now. But now the second question is, what are you known for now? And what do you want to be known for? Those are two different conversations when it comes for building out this media executive persona. Because we're going to change. We're going to morph. We're not going to be the same as your persona, as your media presence grows, and maybe even your position within your own companies. So as an executive, you need to ask yourself, who are you? And always we're dreaming about that next place, that next tower, that next status, that next reach. So who do you want to be? And that takes you to now when you work with a consultant, when you work with a coach, that person is going to help you carve out more about that persona. But you're going to go from where you are to where you want to be. And the persona that you start creating and highlighting, showcasing better is going to help you go bigger and bigger and bigger. So let's talk about this a little bit better now as we talk about participate with thought leader groups. This is one area that you can really elevate you and your brand. You can showcase that you are an expert in your field, but you need to get involved with other thought leader activities. There are masterminds. There are conventions. There are different opportunities in your own industry that you can start showcasing yourself more and more. Speak out more. There's something about when you walk into a room and you see recognized names, recognized authorities in your industry, sometimes we retreat because we're not them, or we don't consider that what we have to say is a value of them. Hey, they're the rock stars in our area. I don't think I can match up with them. Stop believing that and start believing your voice matters. When you go to these events, get involved in the conversation. They're often not just talking for the sake of talking. They're often not just trying to have a good event. They want to engage with people to get other thoughts, other opinions, to sharpen the room and challenge the thoughts and put things on the table. If you start engaging with other groups out there, if you start adding your voice to the mix in these leadership activities, you will continue to rise. You'll be seen as that authority. You'll be seen as one of those up and coming influencers that we talk about very often. This is the way to do it, by intentionally getting in those rooms. Watch for them. They may be on a job board, they may be on a promotional board, they may be on a social media post, but go to select ones and be very selective. I know people that go to leadership conventions and they're like leadership convention junkies. They just go from one to the other, to the other, to the other. How many times you need to hear the same speaker give the same talk over and over again? There comes a point where you've heard enough, and now you should be stepping up and you should be sharing. This is a very important step in elevating you and your brand personality, brand persona. But that's what I'm talking about. You have to know who you are, because they're going to want to know who you are. They're going to want to know what your expertise is. They're going to want to know what your background is. Why do you have these opinions? This is where it becomes really important. When you participate, you already have to have that first question figured out of who I am and what do I bring to the table, and build your persona on that. Mine is, I'm a media guy. I've always been a media guy. I've been doing this for 30 plus years. I help you shine on camera, shine on stage, to elevate you and your brand authority through the power of media. I know who I am. I know I reach the executive. I know I help people grow their brand and build their media empires. Do you know who you are and what your superpower is and how you bring it together? There we go. Leadership is conferences, events, activities are the great place to start. Jan's along. She's helping to fill in the gaps here today. Number 2 is going to be, you want to now build and nurture relationship with journalists and influencers. This is an area that goes way back to my early days as being on radio and being part of the media. But we are always looking for experts in topics, from crises. We're looking for people that can relate to a tragedy with a fire, a family that lost a loved one, a terrible accident at a school. Media is always looking for people to talk to. As you build out your persona as an executive thought leader influencer, you'll want to make great connections in advance. Let me stress that. Make these great media connections in advance with local journalists, so when it hits, you're already on top of mind. Hey, you know what? We know about Jan. Jan's a great storyteller, and she works with children and stories for children. What you want to do then is say, hey, you know, we got a story, and we need an expert about children and communication. Jan's the one we're going to call first. That's the type of thing you want to think about when you make these connections. So get to know your local people. Don't be the fancy. Don't be the fansy. This is get to know you as executive to media person. Take them out to lunch. When you see them at an event and they're doing a live or something like that, saying, hey, that was wonderful. Thanks for the input. You did a great job. Hey, we should talk sometime about how you could help me out with some of my media skills. Often, broadcasters, journalists will help you learn better skills themselves. And of course, the consultants are always there to help you out as well. But that's an interesting way to do it, is get to know them and get to know them better and better. Jan's chiming in here. My first newspaper article comes out tomorrow. There you go. She's on it. She's building that first step of getting to know local media. We all want to go big. We all want to go to the very top first. But this is a stair step of building out your media persona. Start local, because local will know regional. Regional will know national, and it goes on and on. Take your time to get to know the individuals in your media area. Third, let's get into this. You want to handle media interactions with poise, but being very authentic. Now, this is where you need to learn how to step up to the microphone, be professional, be on that camera, be professional, but you got to be real. You've got to be authentic. This will separate you from so many other executive leaders, influencers that are more of the puffed up people. You know what I'm talking about. They are the peacock that struts and struts. What we're really looking for in the media is we're looking for an authentic person with an authentic answer, but they also have the personality and the poise to show themselves as a top tier leader, a top tier influencer. We want the executive leader to be sharp and polished. And yet we want to see that they can reveal the personal, the truth, and come alive in a whole different way that this is not a pat answer. It's not a soundbite. You want to be able to be that authentic person that they're going to relate to. This takes time too. This is one of those areas that's not easy to do. When you interact, you want to maintain you're open, you're transparent, you're communicating to the masses, but this is where the media coaching comes in. You're communicating to one. And when you learn that as part of your persona of communication, people will remember you. It will build massive trust levels with this. It's really essential for raising up your media persona as an executive, because our first thoughts of executive is they're stiff, they're boring, they're blowhards, whatever you think about them. But we all have our perception of what the executive is. But this is where you can learn to do it. Jan's still following along here. Be poised and professional. She's got that. And be sharp and be polished. This is all important things as you step up further and further. One thing that you see in every news network, from local to national to regional, is when there's a crisis out there, they do reach out to people, and they know they will give a good, solid answer. They are media experts in their industry. There's a whole area of people that coach this, to teach this. You have your regular executive job, you have your regular career, but you want to be available for the media. This is where having that media persona can help your phone light up. No one wants to have a tragedy happen. No one wants to have a financial crisis. No one wants to have gas prices go up. The journalists are looking for the experts that can speak into the camera, speak to people clearly, and show it. And that's where your executive media persona needs to be here. One thing as a bonus here, as you think about your media persona, as you think about more about who you are now, start there. Who do you want to be as you grow this? Work on creating your own electronic media kit. If you want to learn more about that, contact me, rich@richbontrager.net. That's rich@richbontrager.net. Or, of course, you can just meet up with me and have a personal one-on-one call. That's the blog there. We grabbed the wrong one. Here's the one we want. This one is to scan this, have a one-on-one call. Let's talk about where you're scaling as that media persona. And do you have a media kit, an electronic media kit ready to go? Because when they call, you want to be prepared to give them the good information, highlight who you are, and it will reinforce that you're an executive authority in the right space with the right answers, and you're poised and you're ready to step into what they're going to ask you to do. As always, we're here every day, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. to help you shine on camera, shine on stage. We want to elevate you and your brand authority by learning media savvy skills, because they make a difference in the executive space. And remember, it's not fake. You're not trying to learn how to put on a mask and learn how to fake it. You're really trying to learn how to just communicate better and sharper, because media is different. Jan's giving me an attaboy here, so thank you, Jan, for reinforcing. I do appreciate that as well. But yes, this is where media consultants, coaches can be so important for you, because your persona, your message, before they even talk to you, how you come through the camera lens is so very important. What are you doing today to build that media persona? Again, rich@richbontrager.net. We would love to talk to you to help you shine on camera and get the message out there stronger and stronger every day. And until next week on the Trigger, Rich Bontrager, have a super weekend, and we'll see you back at 2 p.m. Eastern Time live with the Trigger.